Okay, so today's lesson is going to be on the language of algebra. So we've got only one learning goal for today, and today's learning goal is that by the end of the lesson you'll be able to correctly use and understand the language of algebra. Okay, so the first thing we're going to learn is variables and pronumerals. So variables and pronumerals are just letters that are used to represent numbers. So A or B, X, Y, Z, any letter of the alphabet could be used as a variable to represent any number. There's also a new way of writing things in algebra. So in the past we've written things like A times B and put in that multiplication sign, but now when we do algebra we're actually going to get rid of that multiplication and just write AB. So when you see two variables or a variable and a number together like that, it means multiplication. So for instance, if I had 4A written, that just means 4 multiplied by A. So just imagine a little tiny multiplication sign there. We just get rid of that though when we do algebra. And the other thing is A divided by B. Instead of in writing that division sign, we actually turn it into a fraction like this. So A over B just means A divided by B. Okay. So an expression, that's another term you're going to have to learn. So an expression is a combination of numbers and variables and mathematical operations. So we've got two examples here. So for instance, 3a plus 3yz, that's an expression. You can see that we have numbers, we have 2 3's, and we also have some variables. We have a, we have y, and we have z. And obviously mathematical operations. So the operations that we've actually got in this one is 3 multiplied by a, 3 multiplied by y, multiplied by z, and also the addition there as well. So the addition in the middle. And in our next example, that's another example here of an expression. So you can see we've got pronumerals, we've got variables, sorry, same word, we've also got numbers and mathematical operations. Clear that slide a bit. There we go. And the other word that you're going to have to learn is a term. So a term is part of an expression with only variables, numbers, multiplication, and division. So you can see here 9b is a term. We've got the variable b, and we've also got the number 9, and they're being multiplied together. So it's 9 times b. That's a term. Another example is 18ac, because we've got the number 18 is being multiplied by a and multiplied by c. So we've got our number, and we've got our variables, and we've got multiplication. Another example here, 5a divided by 3. So that just means 5 times a, and we're dividing all of that by 3. So any of those are terms. Remember, terms are just things that have variables, numbers, multiplication, and division. The next thing you're going to have to learn is called a coefficient. And a coefficient is just the number that's in front of the variable. So if the term is being subtracted, the coefficient is a negative number, and if there's no number in front, the coefficient is 1. So if we look at this example here, it has 7x plus y takes 7a. So in our first term here, 7x, our coefficient of x is 7. This one here, we've just got a y by itself, so the coefficient of that y is 1. And here we've got take 7a. So the coefficient of a is going to be actually negative 7, because it's that subtraction. And the last thing is a constant term. So a term that doesn't actually contain any variables is called a constant term. So here we've got 7, that's our constant term, because there's no variable behind it. We don't have any letters. Cool. So, a few other things with the language of algebra. So when we talk about sums, so the sum of a and b, we're actually talking about addition. So if you hear, what is the sum of 7 and 3, it's going to be 10. We're talking about addition. Difference is just another word for subtraction. So the difference of a and b is a take b. Product is just a new word for multiplication. So the product of a and b is a multiplied by b. And quotient is a new word for division. So the quotient of a and b is a divided by b. So to sum up, sum is addition, difference is subtraction, product is multiplication, addition. And quotient is division. Excellent. Cool. So those are a few words that you have to get your head around as well. So we've got an example here. So we've got an expression, 4a plus b take 12c plus 7. So what that actually means is 4 multiplied by a plus b take 12 multiplied by c plus 7. So a, it says list the individual terms in the expression. So remember, a term involves a number, a variable, and multiplication and division. So the terms in this expression are going to be 4a and 12c. Because we've got 4 multiplied by a and 12 multiplied by c. B isn't a term because there's no number there, and 7 isn't a term either because there's no multiplication there either, or division I should say. So state the coefficient of a, b, c, and d. So the coefficient of a is 4. If you can see there, here we've got 4 multiplied by a. Our coefficient of b, so you can hear there's actually no number in front of b, so we know it must be 1. Our coefficient of c, now don't get tricked, it's 12, but remember if it's a subtraction in front, it's going to be negative. It's going to be negative 12 there for c. And our coefficient for d. So you're probably thinking, miss, there's no d in this expression, so I can't answer that. Well, actually, anytime that you've got a variable there anytime you're asked about a variable like d that doesn't actually appear in your expression, the coefficient is going to equal 0. Because 0 times d, no matter what d is going to equal 0. So that's why we don't have it in the expression here. And the last one says, state the constant term. Remember, a constant term is just a number that doesn't have any variable by it. So our constant term for this question is going to be 7. Because here we've got 7 all by itself, no actually attached to a variable. So that's all we've got for today's video. Just a short, sharp one there. A few bits of terminology for you to get your head around. Make sure you do, because it's very important when we're doing algebra that you know the terms and you can understand the questions. Again, if you need any help, make sure you come and see me in class.